This video is going to demonstrate some of the features of Garage Hive's new Power BI app. I'm going to run through each page and then just give some tips along the way into how to use Power BI effectively. So when you open the app, you're going to be presented with this screen. We've designed this screen to improve the navigation within the app. On any page, if you select the Garage Hive logo, you will come back to this page and then you can access the other reports from this page. This also applies to the mobile version of this report. So all of these reports are mobile friendly. I highly recommend you get the Power BI application on your phone for iOS or Android because these reports, again, every page now is a mobile friendly report. So from the home page, you'll see in the top right hand corner for the multi-location garages, you have a branch selector up here, so you can filter these reports by branch. And this filter will stay consistent through all the pages as well if you set it from this front page. You've got two ways of navigating. You can either use this new menu on the left hand side here, or you can just select one of these tiles. So we'll start with the current summary. So the current summary is a very brief dashboard designed to give you a quick overview of what's actually happening today, this week and this month. And you'll see that you've got the today column, the this week column and this month column. So let's just have a quick look at some of the metrics that we can view. So you've got the total month sales, the total profit margin, the technician efficiency, and then you'll notice that as I'm scrolling over some of these elements that we get these tooltips. So there's some really good detail within the tooltips as well, so I do recommend that you try them out. At the top here, you'll see we've got emails collected. So now you can see by service advisor who's collected what email addresses as well. A percentage of emails collected, so really nice metric. And in the top right hand corner, before I forget, you'll see this on all the pages. This will take you through to a bit more detail about that particular report. So carrying on with the information, we've got this month's labour sales, total sales invoices, total number of tyres sold. And if I scroll over tyres sold, I can see the actual quantity and the price of the tyres that we've sold. The average invoice value and average invoice profit, the number of MOTs and the number of services. If you scroll over MOTs, you can see which testers have performed the MOTs. And if you scroll over services, you can see who's done the services. Then we've got the VHC authorization amount as well. And again, by advisor, by service advisor, you can see what percentage has been authorized and what amount has been authorized. And we have item margin. And you can see the split between parts profit and tire profit. The percentage of VHCs to jobs. This is essentially how many of your jobs are receiving VHCs and what the authorization percentage is. So under previous summary, this is very similar metrics to the current summary, except it's for last week and last month. And you'll notice up here that we have a date selector as well. So if I just select a certain date range, so we'll do March 2019. You'll notice that only this column is affected by the date selector. And then in terms of the actual figures within this report, they are all the same as the current summary. So you've just got the brief overview. And this is a great report. This is a very, very mobile friendly report. So this is probably your sort of go-to report on your mobile phone. So that's the summaries. I'm going to give you an example now of clicking on this. So if I click on this Garage Hive logo here, you'll see I go back to the home screen. And again, this is really useful on mobile. So let's go ahead and look at the monthly analysis. So the monthly analysis will allow you to look at a single month and view it on a day-to-day basis. So we can see here at the top, we have a relative date selector. So we can say the last one calendar month, or we could go this month and it will change again. So if we have a look at last calendar month, you get the number of jobs, the total revenue, your gross profit, your labour sales, your item sales. I just need to refresh this report, just 1 second. the efficiency, profit margin, item margin, average invoice value, average invoice profit, and then the percentage of emails collected on any particular day. And then you get a view of the month on these bar charts down here, so you get an idea of the trends of the month. What you can also do is actually filter by job type as well. So if we want to view MOTs and service MOTs, we can then see the value of the MOTs and service MOTs, as in the actual value of the entire job, not just the MOT element, and the number of jobs. And if you want to filter to multiple selections, you just hold Control click. So if I want to look at the services, I hold Control and I click Service and Service MOT. So really useful. Again, I'm going to return back to the home page. And let's take a look at the yearly analysis then. So this will allow you to look at a much wider period and then view over a year, let's say, and view it month by month. So in this particular branch, you can see that we've got the dates down the left-hand side and the years, and you've got the same metrics. So we've got jobs, total sales, gross profit, labor sales, item sales, efficiency, profit margin, item margin, average invoice value, average invoice profit, and percentage of emails collected. And this is over the period of a month. Now you see these color scales here. So red simply means that's the worst month, and green means it's the best month, and then there's just a color scale between the two. So if we look at this branch, what we can see is that around Christmas time, the efficiency dropped really low, which is probably quite expected. But then it started to improve, and as the year's gone on, the efficiency has just got better and better. Same really applies to the profit margin and item margin as well. What's cool about this, you can actually select a single month. So if we select July, for example, you can then compare the months directly with the previous year, which is quite useful. And what you can also do down here, you see these line graphs. We've got posted job sheets, sales, and GP. Well, you can filter the posted job sheets and the sales by job type as well. So it gives you an idea of are you seeing more MOTs than the year before or less, and how is that reflected within the revenue. Okay, let's take a look at the item analysis now. So from within the item analysis, you can look at items by categories or actual individual items if you want to. So you see on the left-hand side here, we have item categories. So if I wanted to, I could filter down to my category for tires. I can see what my total, my best-selling tire is. So here, reluctantly, it's a Black Circles tire. And then we've got our top-selling tires. And what you can also see here is the quantity as well. So you can follow trend of tire sales, the revenue, and the actual margin as well. Of course, at the top, you've got date filters if you want to. So if you want to actually look at your top-selling tire of a particular month, then you can do that simply by filtering these dates at the top. So now we're going to look at, let's take a look at job sheet analysis. So you will see down here that I've removed some data here just for data protection, just hiding some customer names. But essentially what this report will allow you to do is analyze data on a job-by-job level, including the hours gained or hours lost, the revenue, the costs of the job, the labor sales, the GP, the clocked time, the hours sold at full labor rate, the efficiency of the job, and the profit margin of the job. So if I take this job, for example, where we've gained 0.8 of an hour, we can see the tech that did it, how long they spent doing the job, and what we sold. And likewise, we can see this one here where we lost. We can see that we spent 2.12 hours, but we only sold 0.7. So this really allows you to get into some detail of why you might not be efficient over a particular period of time. And again, at the top, you can filter by month or by particular dates. A very, very powerful report this is. So moving on to technician efficiency. This is a very basic report to understand the efficiency of a particular technician. So we'll filter to last month. So we'll use Makaj as an example. If I select Makaj's name, then the report will filter to him. So we can see that he was utilized 85% of the time. We've recovered 105% of that time. And if you combine the utilization and recovery, we get 90% efficiency. So essentially this report is telling me that at £60 an hour, of all the hours the technician spends clocked into work, for every hour I pay him, he's producing 90% of my labor rate. So it's a very accurate measure. Again, you can filter to a single day, or you can filter to a particular time period. Just a bit of advice, if you want to filter to multiple months, if you hold Control and left click, then you can filter to multiple months if you want to. So let's take a look at labor analysis now. So what labor analysis allows you to do is analyze your labor groups, your labor numbers, and even your labor descriptions over a particular time period. So again, in this case, the top tables are filtered to July. But let's say I want to view my MOTs. So if I select MOT on the left here, you'll notice that my labor numbers filter to MOT, and my descriptions filter to the types of MOT descriptions that we've done. But down here, I can see the revenue and I can see the quantity. So we can see that in July, we saw growth, but in June we actually did less MOTs than last year. So a very good indicator of are you growing or shrinking at particular jobs. So for example, if you take on a new service and you want to monitor how well that service is performing, then this is the report that you would come to. Now we're going to look at technician analysis. So this is like a combination of the efficiency report and the labor analysis report. So what I can do is I can select a particular technician. So if we go to July 2019 and I use Makaj as an example again, I can see the type of labor that the type of labor groups that he's done, and I can see the descriptions of those labor groups. If you select, and you see here on the right hand side, you get a table of the technician over a period of time, so you can see if the labor sales are improving and if their efficiency is actually improving. One of the other good features is you can actually filter backwards. So if I want to click MOTs here, I can then see who's actually performed the MOTs up here. So you can filter backwards and forwards. You get extra detail on the technician, but this really is about analyzing the type of work that that technician has done. So now we're going to take a look at VHC analysis. And I'll unfilter here. So what this will do, this will allow you to see how your advisors and technicians are performing both on inspections and VHCs. So if we look at some of the metrics, we can see the number of vehicle inspections over a particular month and a particular year, the number of inspections that were converted to VHCs, the vehicle inspection rate, so you can understand what percentage of vehicles are getting inspected. As you can see, as a company, we're actually improving in this area. And of those which are converted to VHCs as well. You can see the value of the identified work and the value of the authorized work. You can see the percentage of work that was authorized. You can see the value of the VHCs, and you can see the average VHC authorization value. So this is great. So if you're trying to convince staff that inspections are a good thing, you can actually try and understand for every inspection or every VHC that you do, how that actually translates to pound notes. And again, down here, you can see tables, line graphs of performance over a particular time. You can filter to a particular service advisor, or you can understand why work wasn't authorized using this filter here as well. So moving on, let's take a look at service advisor analysis. So this will allow you to see how a service advisor is not necessarily performing over time, but how busy they are and what type of work that those service advisors are doing. So you can see, if we just take a look through the metrics, what percentage of emails that advisor is collecting, how many jobs that they've done. Again, you can filter this over a particular time period as well. So if we select July, we can see that that advisor posted 405 jobs. You can see the item margin of that particular advisor, how many return jobs they've done, how many purchase invoices and credits they've posted, how many VHCs have completed, what their average VHC value is and their average authorization is, how many estimates they have, and how many job sheets they've actually got in process as well at any one particular point. So if I select an advisor, you'll see the line graphs at the bottom filtered to that particular advisor. So let's move on to bookings and work in progress analysis. So this report works great on mobile again, and it allows you to understand how busy you actually are. It's a great quick view into the type of work that you've got coming up. So if you feel like you're not hitting your GP targets and you're not doing that great, or you feel like you're having quite a bad week, this is a great place to come, because you can very quickly understand whether it's just because you're not busy enough. So what I can see from here is that on the 7th of August, we had a total of 21 jobs booked in. And if I scroll over it, I can see the makeup of those jobs. But I can also see that I've got 3 services and 5 MOTs. So up here, you've got the filter for MOTs and services if I want to. And I can see tomorrow so far, we've got 8 jobs booked in. And what you can do, you've got this filter on the left-hand side here. So if I select this one, you'll see down here that these tables change to tell me the type of work that's booked in. So really nice report, very good to understand, like I said, just how busy your particular branch is. Oh, actually, I need to show you something else on this as well, sorry. A question I get asked quite a lot of is, can I see the value of the finished work? I.e. that the job's been complete, but the customer's not yet collected it, not finished, sorry, ready for collection. So here, this will actually show you the value of all the jobs that are ready for collection. So if you think you've had a bad day because revenue is down, if you come here, it just may be that the customer's not actually collected the vehicle. And you can understand that from here using this work job sheet work status. I can see that 15 vehicles ready for collection at a value of £2,000. So let's take a look at customer analysis now. Again, on here, I'm just going to blank some names out for data protection, but you'll still get a good idea of how this report works. So what this will allow me to do is either select a particular customer. So if we select, let's say, this customer. That's a bad example. Well, let's use Payment Assist, actually. So what I can see using this Payment Assist customer is I can see, 1, the jobs down here that they've actually had done, but 2, the amount of jobs that this branch is seeing for Payment Assist. So it just gives you an idea. This is obviously, I'm doing this for Payment Assist, but you can do this for any customer. So if you want to understand how a customer is performing at that branch, are you seeing more or less of that customer? In particular account customers, this is a great place to come to understand that. What you'll also notice here is a heat map. So this, what we've actually added the feature here of is understanding the type of work and where you're getting the type of work from. So you can now filter the heat map by service type. So if I select MOT, then I can see the heat map for the MOTs. Also, if I select a particular month or a year, so we'll go to 2019 and we'll go to June, I can see where the work came from in June. You can also filter by marketing channel. So if you want to see where certain marketing campaigns are performing, you can actually do that here as well. So if I select Google, I can see where the work's coming from Google, for example. So a very powerful report for understanding customers, customer retention, customer spend, and understanding how marketing is performing for particular customers as well. So we're going to move on to vendor analysis now. So this is a completely new concept to Garage Hive. This allows you to, for the first time, analyze vendor behavior in Power BI. So for example, if I select Euro car parts, I can see this branch's spend at euros drop significantly. Or if I select AAG, I can see a significant increase. And down here you can see a pie chart of how that particular branch has spent money as well. And again, this can obviously be filtered down to a single month. So if I want to look at this month, I can see where this branch is already spending money. So a very good indicator as to how you're spending. And it's actually not a bad idea to understand how much you're probably going to owe as well. So now let's take a look at vehicle analysis. So busy report, but there is a lot of data to actually filter to here. So this is going to, previously you could see the make and model, or now we've improved that report significantly, and you can now see make, model, engine code, year of manufacture, the fuel type, the job type, and the marketing channel. So you'll notice when I scroll over Ford, I get a little tooltip of the type of Fords, and likewise if I scroll over Ford here, or Vauxhall or Volkswagen, you can see that I can see extra data on the breakdown of Volkswagen. But let's click on Ford on the left hand side here. So I can see the top is a Fiesta and the top engine code actually is a DRFF. If I select the engine code, it'll actually show me the vehicle that engine code is related to as well. But we'll go back to Ford. And you can actually see trends now, so you can see if Fords are getting bigger or getting smaller at any particular branch. As in you're doing more jobs, sorry, not getting bigger or smaller. You're doing more jobs or less jobs. Now let's say I want to look at my diagnostic work type. That branch doesn't do much diag. Let's try MOTs, for example. So I've filtered to service type MOT. And I can now see that I still do see more Fords for MOTs. But if you do a lot of diagnostic work, you can actually filter to the type of work as diag, and you'll see the type of vehicles that you're performing diagnostic jobs on. Really good for investment purposes. So go to tyres. Again, Ford is still the winner with tyres, but you can see the split is much more even. And this behavior for me changes quite significantly across the branches actually. And now, yes, we've introduced the year of manufacture. So just something that you need to be quite cautious of the year of manufacture figures is if we've imported data and the data we've imported doesn't include the year of manufacture, then it's going to be missing off this report. So you can see here that we've got 4,144 jobs, but actually in total we've got 6,000. So for 2,000 vehicles we imported when we came from the old system, we didn't have the year of manufacture. So just something to be cautious of. It's still a pretty good indicator because if you refresh the data on Garage Hive, then we have this year of manufacture data. So moving on to external service analysis. Really interesting report. Previously you couldn't see this in Power BI. This will now allow you to see the external services that you use, so basically subcontractors. So if I select a subcontractor on the left hand side, then I can see if we're losing money on them or we're actually charging more than we're spending. So a really good indicator of how your certain subcontractors are actually performing for your business. The pie chart gives you a breakdown of the type of external services you're using. You can filter external services by vehicle type as well, if you want to. And then down here, you've got the tracking code. So if you are using the tracking codes, if you select an external service, you can view the tracking codes down here, the individual tracking codes. Again, this can be filtered by date as well. So let's move on to marketing channel. So a really cool report. Hopefully you've been collecting marketing channel data. Well, now you can actually analyze that data. So for this, I'm actually going to unfilter from this particular branch, and we're going to look at all the data. So I can see that a majority of our jobs still haven't got a marketing channel, which is fine because we were using this system before marketing channel existed. But for the ones that have, quite clearly recommendation and location are the top. So if I select recommendation, I can see if we're increasing recommendation or decreasing. I can see the type of work that we're getting from recommendations, and I can see where recommendations are actually coming from as well. So again, with location, same data, I can see where the location work is coming from. Are we getting more work as a result of location-based marketing channel, and the type of work that we get from it. If you've got particular campaigns, this is really useful. If you've, say, done a mail shot, for example, you can select a mail shot and you can actually view where that mail shot has been successful. So a really powerful report this is. So moving on to the last report, we've got a report that was designed by John Batten, AutoIQ. This is the report that he will be using with his business development customers to monitor the data, or the customers that are actually using Garage Hive. This is a set of metrics that are important to John. And this is what he would use on his accountability meetings that he has with you guys. So again, a great report. Functions very similarly, but you've got different metrics here. You've still got the ability to scroll over some of these metrics to get the tooltips as well. So that's the new Garage Hive Power BI reports. I appreciate that there is an awful lot of data and an awful lot of reports. Hopefully they're broken down in a way that are quite simple to understand for the users. This is now going to be developed in a similar fashion to how the Garage Hive product is developed. So it'll be continuously improved because we've got the application platform now to apply the changes to. Keep all feedback in the community forum if you can. Really look forward to your feedback. A lot of work's gone into these reports. The data is still very fresh, as you can see that we are technically still in beta testing. I can't guarantee any of the data, but I would really appreciate all feedback, any suggestions and any data discrepancies that you might come across.